I slept really hard last night. Woke up about 12. Ethan showed me a picture of me just completely conked out. I sleep like a corpse basically when I'm. Because I was sat in an armchair at his house and I was just dead. I spent most of the afternoon at his. We were just chilling and then I came back here. Got caught in a load of rain. Even though it wasn't raining before I set off and it stopped raining when I got back here. Started pissing it down right on top of him. There's probably not much I can say in this video, so I thought I'd just read something to say, just something potentially more thought-provoking than my musings about nothing. What's all this? I've tried spaghetti on page. What have I been doing? Eating spaghetti, presumably. How do I position this? Cool. I'm gonna have to get down. Get down dirty. Here we go. This should be fun. Time flowed on in intolerable boredom. There were not even any visitors at the inn. During the whole month of July, the only person who put up there was a youthful deacon, rather a queer fellow, after the pattern of seminary queer sticks. A relative of his came to see him, but the visit ended in nothing. The deacon was absent in the bazaar, and his name, Krasnobayev, was written upon the board after the Latin fashion, Benedictov. As autumn drew near, Kuzma persuaded himself that it was indispensable for him to make a pilgrimage to the holy places, to some monastery, or to give up the struggle for good and all, and take to drinking again in order to spite someone or other. One day, having unlocked his chest, he found Tolstoy's Confession, opened it, and read the penciled inscription which he had written while in a state of intoxication during his services with Kazatkin. It is impossible to wean all men from vodka. A couple of months earlier, he would have merely have contracted his brows in a frown. What a stupid inscription. But now he grinned and said to himself, why not consign everything to the devil's mother, burn everything to the last thread, and draw a razor across my throat? Autumn set in. In the bazaar, there was a fragrance of apples and plums. The schoolboys were brought back from the gymnasium, from their vacation in the country. The horse races began. The sun began to set behind Chips Square. If one emerged from the gate in the evening and crossed the intersection of the streets, one was blinded. To the left, the whole streets, ending at the square in the distance, was flooded with a low, mournful light. The gardens, behind their fences, were full of dust and spiders' webs. Polozov came to meet him, wearing a coat with sleeve flaps. But he'd already exchanged his hat for a peaked cap with military insignia. So was the key. I'm sorry? There was not a soul in the town park. The bandstand for the musicians was boarded up. So was the kiosk where, in summer, kumis and lemonade were sold. The wooden refreshment counter was closed. And one day, as he sat near the bandstand, Kuzma was so overwhelmed with depression that he seriously meditated committing suicide. The sun had set, the light was reddish, thin rose-hued foliage was drifting along the alley, a cold wind was blowing, the cathedral bells were ringing the summons to the all-night vigil service, and one's soul ached unbearably, at the closely set methodical peal executed in countrified Saturday fashion. I might as well read it. I can get to 6 minutes 11 very quick. All at once, from under the bandstand, a cough became audible and a clearing of the throat. Motka, Kuzma said to himself, and sure enough, from under the stairs crawled duck-headed Maggie. He wore rusty soldier's boots and an extremely long uniform from the shoulders of a second school boy, besprinkled with flour. Evidently the bazaar had been making merry, and a straw hat which had been run over by wheels. With his eyes still closed, spitting and staggering with intoxication, he stalked past without so much as asking for a smoke. Kuzma, repressing his tears, shouted at him, "Mott, come, let's have a chat and a smoke." And Motka turned, seated himself on the bench, began drowsily, with twitching brows, to roll himself a cigarette. But apparently he only had a dim idea as to the identity of the person who was sitting by his side, who it was that was complaining to him about his fate. On the following day, that same Motka brought Tikhon's note to Kuzma, and once more the news which had come so near strangling Kuzma broke. At the end of September, he went to Danovka. There we go. And that was the ending of the second part. A bit depressing, but that's life.